What's growing on, gardeners? It's Tuesday, August 8th, and we may be in peak summer here on the southeastern coast of North Carolina, but on today's video, I'm going to share with all of you 3 of my favorite fruit trees that make me look forward to fall every single year, because that is when I can harvest the fruits.
If you're new to the channel, please subscribe and hit the bell to receive new video notifications, and check out our Amazon store and spread shop links in the video description for everything I use in my garden and awesome custom designed apparel and other gear. Your support is greatly appreciated.
Many of us with long, hot summers look forward to the change in seasons to fall because that brings much cooler, more comfortable weather. However, if you're like me, that happiness can be short-lived. If you have seasonal affective disorder like I do, you may actually dread fall because of the cold weather and the short days and the long, dark evenings. The darkness never really played well with me. However, instead of letting fall beat me, I have decided to fight back and try and beat it. So what I've done is I have strategically planted some of my favorite fruit trees that I can harvest in fall around my yard, because now fall is not something I dread any longer, because I am looking forward to all of these bountiful fall harvests. So I want to take you around my yard and show you the 3 trees that I like the most, that I associate with fall, that have made me look forward to what used to be a dreaded time of year. The first fruit tree that makes me look forward to fall should be no surprise to the followers of my channel, and that is the fig tree. If you've been following me for a while, you know I am a fig fanatic, and I have over 100 fig trees, including 42 fig trees that I grew from seed in a breeding program that I have over there that you can't quite see in this camera angle right now. But suffice to say, I am a massive figaholic. Now, some of you may be thinking that figs are not technically a fall fruit, they're more of a late summer fruit, and that is true in their native climate. However, here in the United States, where it's significantly cooler than the Mediterranean where figs originate, it is overwhelmingly an early fall fruit. Now, here in the South, we can get some early varieties of figs that'll begin ripening in July, but the mid to late season figs that have the best quality fruit are generally a late August, early September fruit for us. And if you live in the Northeast, where figs tend to be the most popular, chances are you're not getting big harvests of figs until probably early September. They're really a Labor Day fruit, and technically speaking, in terms of meteorological fall, which I think is a better representation of the seasons, that actually begins September 1st. So that's when you're generally going to see figs start popping up in the grocery stores, and most people are going to hit their stride in terms of fig production. The only way you are going to get truly delicious figs is to grow them yourself. That is because the fig is not a true fruit. It is actually a syconium. It is a collection of hundreds of inverted flowers. So because of that, you're actually picking a basket of flowers, not a real fruit. So once it is removed from the fig tree itself, it will no longer ripen. As soon as you pick this fig, it will start withering and dying, just like a rose will. So because commercial fig growers pick the figs when they're underripe so they don't get damaged in shipping, the figs that you get in grocery stores seasonally are woefully underripe and taste pretty terrible. The only way that you can eat a truly ripe fig is to grow that fig yourself and harvest them straight off the tree. And they have to come off the tree completely ripe, because they will not ripen on your countertop, they will not ripen off the tree. The other thing I love about figs is the incredible diversity of colors and flavors. You can get green figs, brown figs, orange figs, purple figs, black figs, striped figs, and they all taste incredibly differently. You can get figs that taste like berries, that taste like caramel, that taste like molasses, that taste like honey, that taste like strawberries, peaches, and a blend of all those different things. It is crazy. You can grow 10 to 20 different varieties of figs, and all of them can taste substantially different. I will attempt to show you exactly what I'm talking about. I'm going to grab a fig off of this tree right here that is a little bit underripe, and a fig off of this tree right here that is, this is actually really ripe, although we did get some rain. And I want to show you a side-by-side comparison. You can see one of these is a green fig, one of these is, this is actually a Chicago Hardy, which is a very common fig. So if I break the Chicago Hardy open, you can see that it has a very jammy, I would say it's a light berry fig interior. Whereas if I break this Col de Dame de Cutat fig open, you can see it has a more peach-like interior. So when you actually put the two side by side, you will see they look nothing alike, and as you can imagine, they taste nothing alike. This one was very good, despite how much rain we've had. This tastes like a mix of berries, almost like a raspberry, blackberry, blueberry parade. Whereas this one right here tastes more like caramel and sugar. So when you put them both together, two incredibly different figs. And by the way, these taste absolutely nothing like fig Newtons. They're made out of dried figs and who knows how many other ingredients. So if your only exposure to figs or fig Newtons, that is not what real figs taste like. Fig trees are susceptible to cold damage and grow best in ground in zones 8 through 10. However, I do know of many growers that still grow them in ground in zones 6 and 7. It can be done, but they will suffer significant dieback every single winter. In colder zones, they may even die back to the ground. So if you do choose to grow fig trees in ground in colder zones, make sure you choose yourself early season varieties of figs so they have enough time to grow back from the roots every single year, bear fruit, and still ripen that fruit. Some of the most common varieties are Ronde Bordeaux, Chicago Hardy, Marseille Black, and Olympian. But that is far from a complete list. There are a lot of early season figs out there. Those are just some of the easiest ones to obtain that tend to be the most reliable. But don't worry, fig trees grow fantastically well in containers. They're super popular to grow. I know of people growing figs in containers all the way down to zone 5A. Even some 4Bs may be possible. My container grown figs ripen an entire month ahead of my in-ground fig trees. It is a great way to get a jump start on the season, and if you're willing to protect them in the fall, they can go really late into the season. This second fruit tree that makes me look forward to fall are apple trees. I don't think there is anything more quintessentially fall than apples. Fresh apples, let alone apple cider and apple pie, really make fall what it is. And last year, I planted 2 apple trees in the spring, and after 1 full year in ground, they are already beginning to bear fruit. Now you may be thinking, how can I make a statement like that when I haven't even had these apple trees in the ground for a full year and a half yet, and I haven't even harvested anything off of them? Well, that's because when I grew up in New Jersey, I worked on a farm and we grew apples there. And I'm telling you right now, the fresh, red, delicious apples that came off of the trees there were better than any apple in the grocery store. I know how popular things like Honeycrisp and Fuji and Gala and Pink Lady apples are nowadays, and side by side they are vastly superior to the boring old Red Delicious, but I'm telling you right now, a Red Delicious apple straight off the tree is one of the best apples I've ever had compared to anything in a grocery store. So if a fresh Red Delicious apple is that good, imagine how some of the superior varieties of apples are going to taste straight off your apple tree. And what is really cool about growing your own apples is you can grow all of these interesting, unique crosses that you can't get in a grocery store. So if you only have room for a few trees, I recommend you get some interesting sounding crosses that you can't get anywhere else. And that is exactly what I've done. The tree right here is a wine crisp apple, and like the name suggests, it is based off of the wine sap apple, but it is one of the crispiest, crunchiest apples that you can get, and I really like a good toothsome apple. And as you can see, despite the fact that it's only on its first full season, it already has a couple apples on it. So I'm really excited to taste my first fruits off of this tree. Then this tree right next to it, which is the pollinator, this is a sundowner apple, also known as the Crips Red. And this is the sister variety to the Pink Lady, which is actually Crips Pink. They were made by the same breeder. So I can get all the Pink Lady apples I want anytime I want at the grocery store. I figured, why not get this other one that is not as well known commercially? Now this was developed in Australia, so it tolerates heat very well. And as you can see, it is very vigorous and productive. I already have 3 cordons laid out on this tree, and it already has 4 or 5 fruits on it. So I am really excited to finally harvest a little something off this tree. And these have performed so well in my climate that this year I decided to add a third tree just for fun, and that is Pink Pearl. This has only been in ground since April, and it's already gotten pretty vigorous. And the things that make this so special is this is one of those red-fleshed apples. So when this finally bears fruit, the fruit on it will have normal looking skin, but then you bite into it and the center will be red. And that is another thing I love about apples. There is a huge diversity in color and flavor. So you can grow all kinds of really cool apples apples that don't really taste all that alike. So if you're like me and fall can be rough on you, growing fresh apples can be something that you really have to look forward to. And if you already love fall, this can make fall even better. Now, apples grow pretty well between zones 4 through 9, maybe even some zone 3s. So they are super cold hardy, and you can pretty much grow them anywhere in the United States. And the third fruit tree that makes me look forward to fall every single year is the fruit tree that has quickly become one of my favorite fruits on earth, and that is the glorious, incredible persimmon. If you live in North America, persimmons are going to be one of the easiest fruits on earth to grow. That's because persimmons are native to North America, specifically the United States. Now, in the US, we have Native American persimmons, which are very small. They're a couple times larger than an acorn from an oak tree, and they are all very astringent, so that means you have to wait until they fall from the tree and get very soft to eat them. They are very delicious, and you can find them growing wild in many states. However, the persimmons that I like growing the most are Asian persimmons. They have much larger fruits, and I think they have just the most unbeatable flavor. And what's cool about Asian persimmons are they come in both astringent and non-astringent varieties. So this variety right here is an Ichikikajiro non-astringent persimmon. So you can still eat them when they are hard like an apple off the tree before they are fully ripe. However, if you do wait for them to get ripe, they will reach a more jelly-like consistency and get super sweet and syrupy. That is when I prefer to eat them. This non-astringent Asian persimmon behind me is only 2 years old, and it has fruited for me both years. So the nice thing about Asian persimmons are when they are grafted, they fruit very, very quickly, and they are almost all self-fertile, so they don't need cross-pollination. One tree is all you need. And what is cool about them is they are compatible with Native American persimmon rootstock. So when I plant them, I make sure that I get all of my Asian persimmon trees grafted onto Native American persimmon roots, because those Native American persimmons are pretty much adapted to the soil type in the United States, so they grow very well and very vigorously. But in my opinion, the king of all fall fruits is the astringent Asian persimmon. The astringent varieties of Asian persimmons ripen late into the year, and they are classically actually ripened by frost. They will ripen after the trees get defoliated and lose all their leaves from a frost, and then that is when the fruits will start to soften. Now, you can't eat an Asian persimmon that is astringent until it is completely turned soft like Jello, because it will be too bitter, it will have too high of a tannic content. However, it is worth the wait. These are some of the best tasting fruits you will ever have. They are sweet, syrupy, Jello-like, and they taste like a mix of honey and cinnamon and vanilla. They are just unbelievable. These are fruits off of my Giambo astringent Asian persimmon. It's on its 3rd year, and it is finally holding on to its fruits. So this is the first time I'm ever going to get ripe fruits off of this tree, and believe me when I tell you, I cannot wait. You can tell the astringent varieties look a lot different, whereas the non-astringent varieties are kind of round like a tomato. These are a little more conical shaped. Persimmon trees are the ultimate season extension for people that live in cold climates. Asian persimmons will grow in ground anywhere from zones 6 through 11. Your American persimmons generally grow from zones 4 through 9. The Americans are much more cold hardy. However, you can also get Asian American hybrids that took many years to develop. But for instance, you can purchase a Nikita's Gift tree, which has the cold tolerance of an American persimmon with the fruit of an Asian persimmon. So even people in zone 5, they can grow Nikita's Gift and basically get Asian persimmon quality fruit. Now, because it takes frost to ripen the persimmons, sometimes they have to get hit by several frosts. You can actually grow the astringent persimmons all the way into October and November in cool, temperate climates. So if the idea of harvesting fresh fruit in October or November sounds great to you, you simply have to grow persimmon trees for that reason. And I'll make sure to link to a video down below that I made last year. It is the best guide on the entire internet for growing persimmons. It will teach you everything you need to know. And that right there are 3 of my favorite fruit trees on earth that make me look forward to fall every single year. So if you're like me and you struggle with the dark days of fall, having these harvests in front of you can help make you look forward to the season. And if you already like fall as it is, this can make the season even better. So everybody, I sure hope you found this video helpful. If you did, please make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and please ring that notification bell so you're notified when I release more videos like these. If you're curious about any of the products that I use in real life in my garden. They are all linked down below in the Amazon storefront. So if you expand that video description and click on the Amazon link, you'll see everything I use in real life. And while you're there, check out my spread shop for custom merch if you want to support the channel. If you have any questions about the trees in this video, ask them in the comments below and I will do my best to answer them. Thank you all so much for watching, and I hope to see all of you again on the next video. Dale, with me, buddy. With me. Very good. With me. Dale, with me, buddy. Very good. Come on. Oh, what, you want a treat now? You listen to one command and suddenly you want to be rewarded? Okay. Gentle. Okay. Come on. Let's go. With me, buddy. With me.